Well, there's no disagreement amongst any of the premiers or the chief ministers about the closure of international borders and the current arrangements we have for that, which extends out to the end of June. That is a unanimous position. The discussion we had today about how we get open, stay open, is really about how we inform those choices in response to any events that may occur along the way. What I want to see, and I know that New South Wales Premier wants to see, is that we fully realise the capability of our national economy, reconnecting all of our states and territories. And there's been a lot of progress on that in the last few months. We've seen more of the Commonwealth open up over these last few months, and we want to see that stay that way and it not fall back. And there is every reason to have the confidence of that. As the vaccination program continues, as the success right across the country of the quarantine program continues. I mean, even in the very serious cases that you've just mentioned, involving the mine. I mean, that's been contained within the quarantine, and that has largely been the experience of Australia throughout the entire pandemic. And when you think about the hundreds of thousands of people who've gone through hotel quarantine and the very small number of cases that it's failed to contain. And that is a success rate that any other country in the world would swap places for in a heartbeat. So, we share that view about wanting to open up, but at this stage, opening up to international arrivals at that scale is not considered safe or wise.
Prime Minister, can we ask some questions now?
Well, I'm happy to get to those, but I'm going to deal with the issues of the National Cabinet first. Yeah.
Prime Minister, is there any update on the Toowoomba quarantine proposal?
No, I still don't have one. That's the update I have. I need a detailed costed proposal that the Commonwealth could consider. There's been a lot of going backwards and forwards, but as yet the Commonwealth doesn't have a costed proposal that we could actually consider.
Just on the overseas shipments, we're meant to be getting more than 3 million doses from overseas. Are we still relying on those at all, or are we completely not needing them?
So we have those 300,000, which will really take us through it.
Do that.
Prime Minister, just on the international borders, is there any update with foreign students? Is that something that we're any closer to seeing?
No, there's no change on that front. It would be good if we could get to that point, but at this stage we're not at that point. The opening of the international borders we don't think is wise at this time and for the period that we've suggested, and that's totally consistent with the medical advice. We've always been happy to work with the international education sector if they want to put in place supplementary self-funded quarantine arrangements and flight arrangements. That has always been there for the international education industry, the large universities and others to go down that path. They haven't chosen to go down that path. Our focus has remained on the responsibilities we have as a Commonwealth.
Prime Minister, notwithstanding our onshore vaccine capacity, are you worried about vaccine nationalism going forward, and is the incident in Italy overnight an example of vaccine?
Yeah, look, vaccination nationalism or protectionism is a matter that has been regularly raised in international forums that I've been involved with. It's a matter I discussed with Ursula von der Leyen when I discussed this particular matter. It's fair to say that the European Union has seen a large amount of vaccines leave the European Union, so it would be unfair to suggest that they've engaged in a universal practice of that nature. But obviously, it's important that contracts are honoured. It's important that the vaccines not only reach across Europe and